All right, welcome back to part two of This Week in GWENT with KingDenpai. My man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I just ran out from the rain. It was had to get some clothes in, so I'm looking a little wet, but we're here. We do what we can.
Yeah,
We do what we can, man.
yeah.
You gotta get ready.
No Zubi, not shower rain. So we
Not,
got that out of the way.
I'm under the water. Yes, that's me today, man. That's me today.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, like we were just talking off screen. Like, first of all, sorry for the delay. We had a couple minute delay because we had some audio issues. It's not a week without some audio streaming issues or stuff like that. And we were just talking that, yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a week. There was a lot going on. Plus the Game Awards, which happened last night. I hope everybody stayed up and watched it. I did. Hope someone in watching this stream actually got a Steam Deck, because you could get one through if you were watching on Steam. I did not, unfortunately, but yeah, Game Awards was clutch this year. I feel like with every year it's getting a little bit better and better. But yeah, we still have to talk about the Bill Clinton guy that appeared there.
Oh, I love the. Oh my
stole
god!
the show. I knew you would love it because I also loved it.
It was like unorthodox rabbi or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like what? What?
It's like, dude, what's in your head?
The screenshot of Keeley as well. Like, if there's somebody who took a picture of his face, like when he realized that guy wasn't meant to be there, he was so livid, man.
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like a security issue.
Yeah.
So I would be also afraid. For those of you that didn't watch, pretty much when they were giving out the Game of the Year award, which went to Elden Ring, spoiler alert. Pretty much they were giving their speech, and just when they started ending their speech, a guy appeared on stage with them, like a kid. I don't know how old he was, and he
looked like a kid.
Yeah, he said he wants to thank his Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton, which was kind of weird, but it was cool because the cameraman, he kind of like, oh, okay, they're done speaking, like let's move away, but then he kind of went back because someone was saying something, was that kid. And he blended very well, but people were like, no, this isn't supposed to be happening right now. I mean, you had Kojima there, you had Miyazaki, you had all the like big names like Reggie, all those names. So having someone just, randomly appear and move there, it's crazy.
it was literally just like the memes that have been birthed from it as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, oh my god. I swear to God, this morning I woke up to it. I scrolled through Twitter, I looked through everything, and I could not stop giggling. My wife was so curious at like what I was laughing at. It was just that good, man.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Scary but good, but I think we're always in for like these weird things that happen. Like, you don't expect things like this to
nobody
happen.
got hurt.
Yeah.
So in the end it was harmless, but obviously as a security issue, it's kind of like it reminds me a little bit of the fact that for some reason you guys let Joseph Curley walk up to your door last week. Like, that is a security risk, letting Specimen just show up at your headquarters.
No,
like,
he's fine.
did you handle him? Like, what happened? Did you throw him out?
We brought him in. We
Why?
gave him something to drink, and we took care of him.
I literally just posted a picture in our team chat of him just like outside the offices, and I was like, were you invited? And he's like, nah, I just showed up.
Yeah, he dropped by. It was good because it was the weekend that we were doing World Masters, so it was perfect to have him there. Quick chat. We
did he give you some snap tips? Some Marvel snap tips.
Always. I mean, he's the go-to person. We kind of talked a little bit about the game because it's always good to see kind of what he thinks, get his perspective on what's going on and kind of how the game is developing. It's also interesting for us as a developer, talking about direct competition and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, always we talk card games. All card games. Like, I don't think there's any ones which we don't really talk about. So yeah,
you don't have like a no discussing card game. You're like, I hate Magic. We can't let that. That's off the table.
I mean, every week on Tuesday we play Commander in the studio with fellow like CDPR people. Like, we're all into the card game stuff. Like, I think we never felt like, oh, we can't talk about this, we can't talk about that. It's like, if you're a card game enjoyer, you're a card game enjoyer, and you will enjoy all the card games, and you actually want to know what's going on in the industry because you're wanting to see kind of what's going on in CCGs.
Is there a card game that you just couldn't get into, like in your time? Like you wanted to like it, like everybody, like I couldn't get into Runeterra, for example, and I know a lot of people who
I
love
never
it. And it, like,
tried, to be honest. I think it
really,
just didn't like, the game itself didn't appeal to me, and the one I couldn't get into is Hearthstone. I really had a problem to get into Hearthstone.
really,
But I joined very, very late. I think I tried the game back in 2017,
oh,
and that was quite late. And
yep,
as a my former experience with card games was just Magic. So starting with Magic and trying to understand kind of what's going on in Hearthstone, like I remember like playing the game felt easy. I didn't like the RNG aspect to it a lot. That is also the same problem that I have with Snap when it comes to just too much RNG sometimes, especially on some of the locations. And yeah, I mean, I kind of bounced off of it because I was like, okay, it will require me, to sit there for a super long time in order to make a deck that I feel like is somewhat competitive. And I was
mm.
like, no, this is just,
That's the thing with like
too much.
jumping into games like years after their release, man. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna struggle so hard when it
It's
comes
much
to whatever
easier to
meta is.
start at the start, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Unless you're a very giving game like this one that I know called Gwent the Witcher card game. That one you can get pretty meta decks pretty easily,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly.
Very
But no,
easily.
no, like in a genuine no
Yeah.
cap way. Like I've never played a game that's been as giving as Gwent when it comes to its
Yeah.
resources.
I feel
You know?
like giving in a sense that also to our detriment in some place, because if you give too much, then it's kind of goes into a place where, but I mean, it also comes from kind of our philosophy as a company. Like, the most important thing is to be honest to gamers and kind of treat other gamers like we would like to be treated. And I feel like we would always want to be treated in a way where we don't feel like there is some type of like glass ceiling in terms of getting stuff within a game.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel like honesty just here kind of goes a long way, and kind of, not having the possibility of feel, the worst feeling that you can get in a game is like when you really want something but you cannot get it, like, at all, or you need to spend a ton of money on it. Like, those are the things that I've never liked as a player.
Yeah, that sort of thing can be a big detriment. But do you also feel like you kind of shot yourself in the foot a little bit, like you were a bit too giving? Like,
I
I
feel
don't.
to some extent, yeah, for sure. I feel like there were some points within the game. Also, when we were kind of transitioning from Homecoming to what the game
Yeah.
is right now, kind of giving the possibility to mill everything. I feel like there's still a lot of players kind of, sitting on a lot of resources that they're able to still use for the new cards that we're making. And
Mm.
that's kind of also to, I think that's one of the things to our detriment. But apart from that, I feel like journeys were a good kind of direction to go. And the resource sinks, which were recently introduced, like those were kind of the good things in terms of
I like
trying to
the
balance
resource
things off.
update for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was
I,
needed. Like, everybody was requesting that.
I mean, pretty much a lot of the player base as well is,
Mm-hmm.
most of us have got pretty much all we want, and it's more about premiuming things and
Yeah.
stuff. So that has definitely been a big one for me. But honestly, the best thing you guys have added into the game recently has definitely been the polar bear. I gotta say that bear, man, that was
I thought the
insta buy.
Arid and Snowman, that's my favorite.
That is a good one. That is a
Yeah.
very good
But
one. But
Polar Bear, yeah, I thought we were kind of like, yeah, this is pretty much going to be the, the way to go.
yeah. Oh my God, Zuby out here with a particular love for a particular card. I think you are. You don't even have to read it. You probably already know it's Zuby. So, oh my goodness. Uh,
Okay, so let's recap the news before we start talking. Although we're like already 10 minutes in, and we're
I was gonna
already,
say we could have gone for a while there. Let's
dude,
talk
like,
about
totally.
Gwent. Let's go.
So do I have, yeah, I have something prepared, and right now it's dark, but I'll be unveiling stuff one by one. So, Gwent World Masters concluded. We have Spelling Bee from Canada, taking the win against Danrai in the finals. 10 out of 10, destroy them 3-0. Was interesting to watch, but it was also interesting because Danrai felt very confident going against them.
I mean, there's that
But
meme, isn't there? The like hype
yeah,
celebration thing with him,
yeah.
which was so cool.
Yeah, I love that one. I'm happy that we were able to clip it very quickly and put it on Twitter.
Mm.
But yeah, his excitement was good to see. It's kind of also something that I always look for in any esports event or any sports event, is to kind of see the emotions of players, and kind of, when you get there and you get super hyped, it's always good to
That
see.
hype man moment, you need that, don't you?
Oh, of course, come on, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Awesome
sir.
event. Concluded season 4. We'll be back in for season 5. As you probably saw in the roadmap, there will be 2 events, but we'll probably get to that. We had the patch notes for 10.12. So there was a developer update launching with this, with Jean and Ryan. All the changes are there. You can watch the video. You can check out the patch notes if you have it. Was really, really nice to have this also premiere during World Masters. So that was one of the things. The other thing was the roadmap for 2023 and 2024, where we kind of went through what our plans are and kind of gave players a heads up in terms of what's going to happen after 2023. I know there will be some questions probably about that, but we'll get to that.
Mm.
Sacred and Profane, also as a separate thing here, because I wanted to highlight the fact that Dagon is back. I feel like a lot of players were waiting for this, and they weren't sure if it's going to happen or not, but yeah, it's going to happen. It happened this year, so no more, you don't have to wait anymore for that. We actually managed to get a really nice trailer out for this one, which I had the privilege of working on, scripting and all that stuff. So really happy with how that one came out. I like doing trailers for significant and important drops that we do within Gwent. And since this
How many
one was
trailers are you involved with?
all of them.
All of them. Okay, so you do all of them.
I actually, sorry, when it comes to scripting them, I think after the Novigrad one, for the previous one, I've always been involved in the process for them. But when it comes to scripting them, I feel like the last 2 years were the ones where I was just doing them from scratch. So kind of from script to final production, more or less. And before that, it was in a sense where I had a video team working like with me within the Gwent squad. And then they moved to the global video team. And now I'm kind of outsourcing their help to get these trailers out the door. So for this one, although everybody in the video team was busy, because as you saw, we had new trailers and videos for The Witcher 3 Next Gen, which is coming out on the 14th next week. Don't forget. And for that, and also for the Game Awards, where we had the trailer for Phantom Liberty with the reveal of Idris Elba. Which I think was the highlight for me, seeing that on stage last night. So yeah, we managed to squeeze in a little trailer for the Sacred and Profane. Excited for this one, because whenever we get to make a trailer and I get to script one, it's just, I love the creating process, like the creative process behind the whole thing.
How long do they normally take? Sorry, I'm just genuinely really curious. I had no idea that you were so involved in those.
It takes around a month or 2 maximum to get everything, because you need to think about, like, first you need to script an idea. Then you need to have, for this one, we wanted to have the arts extended from Gwent. So the card arts were kind of, extended by the artists. So they kind of fit the full screen aspect ratio.
Right, so you don't stretch it or anything.
Yeah, so we don't stretch them so they don't look weird. After that, you start adding a little bit of motion design to them, because the trailer itself, as when you have the card, like the card has motion, but everything that we're adding on the sides is not animated in any way. So those things need to have some motion design incorporated into it. And after that, you need to start adding like some form of music to it, and also some sound effects. But it also, after that, is kind of, it needs to go to composers that are going to compose the music for like a ready almost trailer. And then it goes to final sound design. So final SFX, music is added, voiceover is added. and the levels and the mastering is done on the whole video itself, and then you have pretty much the final product, which goes out to the players.
That's actually really cool because I mean we talked about voice acting last time,
Yeah.
so hearing about stuff like that, you know, figuring out how you fit the voice lines in and things like that, that's just really cool to me. So
For this one, it's a little bit easier because the voice that we have been using for quite some time, it's Boris who works with us, and he is the English adaptation director for all of our games, and he himself is also the person that gets to be in the booth with all our most important voice actors.
yeah.
So he's actually the person responsible for directing how everything goes, like what they say. So he was pretty much behind this, and with him it's very cool because I get to work with him on the script, and since he's into English adaptation, his he always puts like a flavorful spin on kind of what's going on in terms of like putting more flavor into the text itself, so it kind of feels more witchery. So
Yeah.
it makes the work much easier on my side because he's like, yeah, I'll record the voiceover, but can I add my spin to it? I'm like, yeah, you have
So
free
like an
reign.
ADR session kind of
Yeah.
thing, like he's directing you in the moment. That's so freaking cool, dude.
Yeah, and I pretty much tell him, he just asked me like kind of the direction we want to go, and I told him like in this one we kind of want like a cleric type of guy that's kind of a little bit mad in the head,
Yeah.
and we want kind of the culminating point of the trailer to be where we show Dagon, and then we have him kind of emerging out of the water, and that's when you kind of you need to put in like all the emotion into it. So he knocked it out of the park in my opinion. I mean, he always does, but it's
Yeah.
also interesting that he can go from kind of like being this lector type of dude that is just like talking about things very nicely, slowly, and stuff like that, to kind of going into actually acting a little bit more with his voice and going into different extremes, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, process is amazing for this, so I love doing these. Moving on, December season started. Standard stuff that we always do. There's also the winter event, but I think I have a separate one for that one. We had a couple hot fixes because things weren't working as they should after the update. So pretty much Drake Bondu, Dima Vendra, Tyr, Saint Gregory, and Melitella, Lilith Omen. These were getting some quick fixes from the balance team. So kudos to them for knocking out of the park very, very quickly, because I think it was just 1 day after to 2 days after to have everything come out. Winter event happened, so we talked about it yesterday. You pretty much are here need to satisfy Mr. All God, who is pretty much always hungry and unhappy and wants his devoted followers to bring him stuff. So 10 out of 10 for this idea to utilize him. I feel like All God is a super cool character. I can't wait to play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt when the next gen update actually launches next week, and experience all this stuff again.
God. Oh, no.
I mean, the new textures on the characters, but also on the monsters in the game, pretty much is something that is bringing me once again to replay it. Apart from like all the ray tracing and the performance modes and stuff like that, but yeah, I played it already when we had a hands-on session in our Warsaw studio. So I replayed some of the quests, and the game, and it was on console. The game looked totally like so much better than what I remembered. And I kind of still go back to The Witcher 3 from time to time, especially to Blood and Wine, which I've always said is my like favorite expansion. So yeah, I feel like it looks I wouldn't say like it changes the way the game looks, but everything just looks more crispier, better. The sun is more visible, like the water looks a million times better. The like the environment, just I feel like it brings it even even more to life than it already was, and I already was totally immersed and in love with what The Witcher 3 was when I experienced it for the first time in 2015.
I just think it's great that a whole, new group of people are going to be able to experience that game as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited for actually people who haven't played the game like 7 years ago are going to be able to experience now. Maybe, maybe they were a bit too young or they didn't know what The Witcher 3 was. And I feel like we still have a lot of like fresh faces that are going to experience this who maybe only watched the, the Netflix show or, never, or we're kind of just getting into the books and stuff like that. So they'll be able to experience it for the first time. That is going to be interesting.
Heck yes, my man. Heck
Yeah.
yes.
And speaking of that, last one, which we announced today, if you don't have anything to do in the night of December 13th to December 14th, this will be a long one. We're doing a release night stream at the studio for The Witcher Wild Hunt Next Gen. So pretty much there will be some concert stuff going on there probably. There also will be a little bit of gameplay, and we'll be doing interviews with pretty much all our esteemed guests from the development on The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So we'll be kind of reminiscing a little bit, talking about the next gen update, which is of course free. I know I mentioned that. And yeah, it will be pretty much cool to re-experience the game. I feel like I'm also in a place where I just want to replay it because I feel like the vanilla version of the game or the main quest version of the game is something that I've played it, but I played it quite a long time ago, so it would be nice to re-experience this once again.
My memory's so short, man. I could play it like literally last week. It'd still be a new experience for me. So,
Damn.
But like I know what you mean. Like if you haven't played it in that long, it will feel like a new experience.
Yeah.
Especially with a fresh coat of paint, it's just gonna be that good. Everything about it looks really, really sick. And
Nice.
Despite the horrifying idea of HD All God, I'm excited. I mean,
I think
you
he
said
will
it.
look good. Like hair effects on him, on his body, and it's gonna be like. Mwah.
I don't know about that. I mean, honestly, thinking about it as well. You're talking about the monsters and stuff. Some of the experiences in Vanilla Witcher 3, it scared the crap out of me. So, now it's going to be like even more detailed in those caves and stuff, man. The things jumping out at you. So it's going to be something. It's going to be something.
Yeah, totally recommend checking it out. If you own the game, of course, on any of the platforms that you have, you will get a free upgrade. One thing to kind of keep in mind is for PS5, Xbox Series X, you'll have the ray tracing option there, but you also will have performance mode, which brings the game up to 60 FPS, which makes it look and run super smooth and nice, and you get high quality graphics within the thing itself. We also used a lot of mods that were from the community and kind of integrated them into the game.
Oh yeah.
So that even makes it the whole experience even better. So 10 out of 10. I can't wait to play it once again, and probably I'll be streaming it starting next week.
That will be very exciting to watch. Yeah. I'm pretty hyped for that. I'm gonna see if I can run it. I hope my PC won't explode. But
yeah, same.
Oh my god! You say ray tracing, and my mind just goes, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
that's a fire hazard waiting to happen. Yeah. But it'll be worth it for that world for sure. But I wanted to talk to you about something just real quick here, because I think it's something that everyone's going to kind of have on their mind, and I think we might want to like tackle it right away is probably the best thing.
Let's go.
So I got to ask you right off the bat, man, what happened? What's going on? Where's Gwent going, man? What's happening to our baby? No, but in all seriousness, a lot of people, you hear everybody clamoring on Reddit and all this stuff. People are saying they let the game down or it's dying, etc. Like, what light can you shed on this just without even a pure question? Like, what's in your mind when you hear all this stuff? Like, what do you want to say on that?
I kind of see it from both sides. Like, I mean, when we had World Masters, like, to announce this to the community was already like super difficult. We kind of knew that, this is coming, like we've seen this coming for quite some time. I feel like the community also felt like this is probably gonna happen soonish. Like you can tell there's the player base is probably a little bit smaller. You have content creators moving out. There's less people streaming the game. You can check by the category and stuff like that. So we were kind of, people were kind of expecting it.
Mm.
Why we kind of did it. I feel like me and Vlad, we wanted to be very transparent with the players and already give them a heads up this year when we're doing the roadmap update for next year, because I mean, if you look at it in full honesty, there's just with every year you're seeing a little bit less content being added to the game and less kind of things going on. So I feel like we had to talk about 2024 and give a heads up and what our plan is.
Of course, yeah.
And we didn't want a solution which would cause, the game to kind of, not have community input into it. The one thing that I saw with every card game that kind of, went into this, I don't like the word maintenance mode or sunsetting. I'm not a fan of this. I like kind of this moment where developers kind of, take their hands off the wheel. So there's two things that can happen here. And in one sense, the company says, okay, we're done, we're shutting the servers,
Yeah.
you guys, was a great ride, see ya. But then we kind of see like the community picking up the game and trying to get some stuff from the developers in order to run it on their own for like a smaller group, because they're just like super passionate about it. Like I've seen that happen with Android Netrunner. There's also like other examples which I don't remember from the top of my head, but there is more examples like that where communities just come in and they kind of take the game and try to do their own stuff. I think it's also the Star Wars game, which Flake is a big fan of. So I feel like
Oh yeah.
they kind of were given permission to create new cards, but they could not use things from the original Star Wars, so they could not use stills from the movies.
Mm.
But they could, for example, create their own art and kind of add it into it. So yeah, that pretty much we were kind of thinking, okay, we need to do something in 2023 in order to give the game in the hands of the community so they can influence balance and stuff like that. And to be honest, like we'll be sharing more information about this very soon. We're kind of working on a short summary for what you saw in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we also will have a longer piece which Jean is actually working on with Ryan, which is going to kind of showcase what our plans are in terms of how balance will look like moving forward and how kind of the community will have influence over this and kind of what we need to do for this to be sustainable. We're also working with some community members that we've always kind of been working on all the balance related stuff, and they will be kind of helping us with shaping how this tool will look like in the future. But I feel like it was kind of inevitable kind of, it's a hard word.
That's for me too. Don't worry.
And that if you sometimes start a very very high, there is like this valley moment, and either if you rise up from that, everything is good. But then you need to be taking into account that games and game development is always will be a business. That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing. And the other thing is like we as a studio in the beginning of this year, or in the middle, no, it was more as like the middle, closer to the end of the year, we showcased a lot of ambitious plans and goals for the next years moving forward. In order to hit those goals, we need to be kind of like shifting our focus and be all hands on deck on those things,
Mm-hmm.
and moving those priorities around. And I feel like it makes sense. I know it's hard. It was very hard for me also, because like I've been with the project since the very beginning. And it's always hard to kind of say like, okay, it's been a great ride, but now it's kind of, we need to move on to doing other stuff. what can I
It
say?
is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those classics where, I mean, you were saying it about shifting things from different projects and stuff like that. I know you guys had the Witcher Monster Slayer thing as well.
Yeah.
That kind of has gone to the wayside now.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few people who did love that, and I even had it on my phone. Um, and I think I want to ask, because I think some people are curious about it, but I have a bit of a suspicion for it, and I wonder if you can confirm it. I don't know how much you can say about it. When it comes to the whole decision and everything like that, I feel like you alluded with the business element of it, and me having worked in games before for the last couple of years. Would you say that this is more like the sort of upper echelon of CDPR's decision rather than the Gwent side of things, or like can you say anything about that? Like
Um,
how has this come about really? As if there's anything you can sort of shed from
I
that,
mean,
because I know a lot of people are wondering.
all these things are kind of part of how the strategy looks like and how what we want to do moving forward. Like, I mean, it's cool to work on something that you love and you're part of and you've been doing for so many years, but you kind of feel like you get to a point where you, and I think I speak for not only me but for others, is like you want new challenges, you want to
Mm,
grow, you want to kind of do different things, and you want to kind of have more support, a bigger kind of knowledge pool to kind of pull information from, and to grow, and to grow in different things. If it's, I don't know, if it's working on tools, if it's working on art, if it's working on programming, working in engines and doing different things. I mean, you want to be constantly evolving and pretty much adding new things to your tool belt and making yourself pretty much better. And I feel like you get to a point where you kind of feel like you don't have as many resources because there is a shift in terms of strategy and in terms of things that we want to do. Plus, we also need to remember that the most important thing factor is that we've been talking about this. The game is very, very generous, but is it bringing enough like
yep.
revenue? Probably not as much as it was in the beginning. So, I mean, the thing is like, checks and balances. You kind of get into a point where you're like, okay, we need to start making some decisions in terms of like what we want to do. On the one hand, we have ambitious strategy and goals in terms of the projects we want to deliver. On the other hand, we need to be still able to make good revenue on this stuff. So you get to a point where you pretty much need to like weigh these things and
Balance the
kind of
scales
decide,
as it
yeah,
is, yeah.
yeah, exactly, and then come and make the hard decisions. I know it's never easy, but yeah, I mean, I feel like we're all excited in terms of like what's gonna happen, in the near and long term future, and we're here kind of for the ride. So
That's
that's
that's the
yeah,
important part.
yeah,
Yeah. I would say it's easy to get lost in an echo chamber, with things
of
like
course.
Reddit and Twitter and stuff like that, and everybody just saying every single thought that they could have on their mind. But
I totally get
this,
it.
yeah,
I've been passionate about the project. I knew kind of this was going to happen for a longer time, so I had a little bit more time to kind of adjust to it and kind of sleep through it and kind of put it all together in my head. Like, I mean, being part of Gwen for as long as the time as I have, it's like a dream come true. It's like, I would never imagine of me being here, being a somewhat face of the game, and seeing it evolve through what it was in the early beginnings and what it came from, like The Witcher 3 to now, and becoming part of this community, and having the possibility to meet so many amazing people, make so many cool friendships, see so many friendships be forged through this, see so many marriages happen because of the
yeah.
game, and kind of seeing how big of an impact the game has on all of us as people and as a community, was something that I would never, like, if someone asked me, do you regret anything, it's like, totally, I don't regret anything. Like, it was it was one of the best experiences of my life, and it is something that when I'm old and stuff like that, I'll be just like, yeah, those were the times. Those were like one of the best times, and I was lucky to be part of it. So I mean, no regrets.
Yeah.
Let's make 2023 amazing, and then let's see what the community does with the game, and then see if it needs any other support on our side moving forward. Because yeah, we will be keeping things going, servers will be going, everything will be going. So, and I feel like the community still will be going for the game. Because, like I mentioned, card game players are this strange breed that even when the game is not there, they will pretty much keep the game going because they love playing it, and they can also play other card games because let's also not be weird about that. Like we can enjoy all card games.
I think there is like a little bit of that like, rivalry sometimes with card game
Yeah,
players that they can definitely get like that.
yeah,
But I mean, you said it. You sort of you set out, you've done everything, and it's been a fantastic experience. And there's been some hiccups that some people might want to say, but there's nothing, you guys did a good job. Simple as. You made a freaking amazing card game, and it's my favorite of all time, regardless
same,
of whatever the heck I'm playing, you know?
same.
You know, I'm sorry. I literally like I was thinking about it because you saw it on Twitter and stuff, I'll imagine.
Hmm.
But when the news got announced, man, it choked me up to see how many people flooded through
Yeah,
and just put so many like freaking awesome tributes out to the game. You had
yeah,
people from, years and years ago and stuff, and all sorts of people coming out of the woodwork to talk about it. And I
yeah.
think I can say for a lot of people in chat that, we just love the hell out of this game.
True. Same.
It's an
I mean,
important
I've
part for
I've
us. Yeah.
I've became a fan of I joined as a fan of the game. I joined the project because of my love for CCGs, and maybe for me, like Gwent, what it was in The Witcher 3 was okay. Like it was very simple to play, and in a point it didn't have like a lot of depth in the early stages of it, but what it became later on was just freaking amazing. It was awesome to be here for the ride and kind of meet also a lot of people that were on the development side and go to all the events, like do the first challenger, like do the first opens and do the all the esports event for it. It was amazing.
I gotta say, yeah, because I did this. I started streaming this thing 2 years ago, and I'd never been welcomed by a community as well as I have with this game. And I'm talking from everybody in chat to literally, CDPR. I had wonderful conversations with Repic and
Yeah.
Ryan and yourself. You guys are freaking amazing. You take care of all of us. I'm trying not to talk too much about myself, but it's
We
it's
try.
we try our best, but um, it, I'm happy to sort of have that closure from yourself on that front.
Yeah.
So thank you for opening up on that one. Uh, yeah, that's a deep topic, man. It can feel heavy to talk about it, because it's almost
Yeah.
like saying goodbye, and you don't want to say goodbye in a way.
No, I feel like it's just moving on to a different thing. I think time for goodbyes will kind of be after 2023, but we'll kind of also see, what the tools will be and how they will look like, the ones that will give in the hands of the community. I know that's kind of the major thing which is on the minds of the live ops team, the design team, Vlad, and the rest of the Gwen team. So I can't wait for them to kind of share more information in terms of like how they want to shape this and what they want to achieve and kind of what to do moving forward. But yeah, I mean, these things are always hard because on the one hand it kind of feels like a goodbye, on the other hand we still know that we have some time, so we want to make this time pretty much count. Yeah,
Make it the best year
yeah,
as best you
yeah.
can. I mean, I'm saying it right now, man. When the balance changes and everything like that come from the community, the first thing I need everyone to do is to band together and buff Wolfpack. That needs to be the change we all
Yeah,
make
for
as a
sure.
community,
They
right there.
better. They better.
No, but we can go through
Yeah.
past that topic now if you're happy with that one. If
Yeah,
you've
I'm
said
totally good.
everything.
Yeah, I saw there was like a question like when did we plan to, like, why did we announce it so early? I feel like just for visibility. Um,
When
the
did when did you know exactly? Like what was the sort of like point that you were like, "Oh, this is happening?"
Huh, that's a good question because I don't know, and it also depends in terms of like internal communication when specific like teams and people, depending on how close they're on the project, they learn about it. But we're
Yeah.
kind of we're kind of seeing some of the shifts happening for quite some time. So
The
it's got
writing was on the
to,
wall,
yeah,
as it
the
were.
writing was kind of on the wall, and we kind of knew, and we were kind of talking about that this might be a possibility, and we kind of need to be thinking about what to do moving forward, and then pretty much how to announce it, when to announce it, and how to let players know. And yeah, we wanted to do it early just because the most important thing was to give everybody heads up so they kind of know.
Mm.
And I feel it's also good for people who kind of rely on Gwent in terms of like their YouTube channels, their Twitch channels, that kind of have a form of revenue that comes from the content that they create. It would be good as a content creator to know early before, so you can start doing shifts and changes, adding variety to your streams. And we kind of seen some important figures within the Gwent content creation space say pretty much, yeah, I'm still gonna stick with the game, give it a proper send off, but I also will be doing some other variety things on top, which is totally
Mm.
fine with me. But we wanted to give them this option and give them this heads up before we just, instead of just saying like, by the way, this is 2023. I know there's not much going on, like less going on than this year in terms of like the esports events and in terms of the number of card drops. Like the number of cards is pretty much the same, but the kind of how they're structured and the amount of cards that we're doing is a little bit smaller than it was last year. So it would be nice to kind of, not say 20, end of 2023. By the way, this is pretty much the end. We're giving this in your hands. No balance changes next year. No cards next year, and yeah, you guys figure it out for yourself. I feel like it's just better to give them, a little bit of leeway time to kind of, okay, you can decide like what you want to do. And I feel like end of the year is also good because you're thinking about next year, you're already starting to
Gives you
plan
that prep
stuff.
time kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And kind of, December is always the wrap up year where you're kind of wrapping up your whole year and thinking about, okay, what went well, what didn't, and what I want to do moving in, into next year. So totally, I feel like it's the fair thing to do when it comes to talking to the community, talking to players, and talking to the content creators. So that was kind of the idea. I also saw there was a question from Crozer about what are our feelings against for like people who want to mod Gwent or making alternative modded multiplayer client. That is a good question. I do not know how that will work on the legal side. Previously, if someone wanted to make a alternative multiplayer client for Gwent, those
Like
things
a
would
private
be,
server kind of
yeah.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's more kind of taking, for example, the game and trying to make it something different in terms of like taking Gwent now from we've seen this project also kind of pop up from time to time. There was a version of Witcher 3 Gwent, which was done into a multiplayer kind of client by someone. And we were taking these things down because they were pretty much, they were pretty much taking our IP and trying to do something different with it. So totally, this was, not something that we were okay with when it comes to when it happened once we were working intensely on the project and kind of adding new content and stuff like that. We'll kind of see how that changes moving forward, because I feel like there may be some place to kind of it's kind of more for the sense of to have to have the possibility of players to influence the game moving forward and kind of do cool stuff with it moving forward. So kind of give them a little bit more space to do these things.
No, that makes perfect sense to me. You got to protect the IP at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, even with the things on the horizon, I think people are still in the back. There's like a group of collective who are just like, "Yo, Beta Gwent, can we finish on that though? Come on, man."
Can we bring that back? But it's not that easy. It's not as easy as you think as just taking that and slapping multiplayer on it and then making it work, right?
Yeah, literally just bring it back, just every file, everything, and just there you go. It's thrown in there.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for shedding some light on that one. You're not gonna have the end of it for a little bit, I'm sure. But
yeah, I'm
I
fine
know
with it. I'm fine with it. Like I said, I'm not. I know I kind of made this kind of, you know, reminiscent kind of tweet at the end. It's been a, you know, incredible 7+ years, and everybody felt like this is a goodbye and this is the end. I was like, no, this is not, you know, it's not the end. I'm going to be with the project till it's kind of very end. So I'm not going anywhere. My focus when it comes to my work related stuff within the company, I've been slowly just moving into doing communication stuff for the whole like for CDPR as a whole. So it doesn't matter, like I'm not IP bound anymore, but GWENT is still my main focus. Like, and this was already kind of discussed, you know, internally, that for me and Ryan and for the rest of the people, like GWENT will be always number one. So this is not changing, and we're not going anywhere.
That's good to hear, man. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you. You know, I wanted to talk to you about something else as well, because we talked about it last time that we actually had our chat. Man, the timing of it was kind of wild. Can you believe Mr. Conroy? You know?
Oh man, no.
Oh, dude.
And it was just after I started playing Gotham Knights, and the news dropped a couple days later. I was like, damn.
Yeah. I literally remember talking to you about it, and you mentioning how, you know, one of your favorite voice actors of all time and stuff. So it's gotta. I mean, you saw the Arkham trailer though, and everything with this voice coming back. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that then now you're gonna have the Suicide Squad game, which he makes an appearance since his last. It's the last game where you'll be able to hear his voice, and it's crazy because I thought that, you know, I mean I knew he wasn't the youngest one, but and kind of.
I think it's still kind of young for him to go. It was like 60 something, wasn't it? 66, I think,
60 something, and I feel like it was just a little bit too early. But I feel like it also had a big impact on the whole like community, especially for everyone like you and me. We grew up with the animated series, so for us, he will be always the voice, like the voice of Batman. Like whenever you think about Batman, you think of Kevin Conroy, and I mean, you can totally have like different actors portray him and try to, you know, and but still your initial thought when you go back to how you experienced Batman for the first time is through the animated series, and that is kind of always going to be your Batman. And the way that, you know, he used to always, like when he went to any conventions and stuff like that or Comic Cons, like he would do the, you know, I am vengeance, I am the night, I'm Batman. It's just like freaking, whenever he said that or did that, it's just like initial like goosebumps, because it's what you remember, right?
I think one of my favorite things is he told a story about his time working in a soup kitchen after 9/11. I don't know if you're aware of that story. It's a beautiful story where a guy finds out that he's the voice of Batman, and obviously 9/11 had literally just happened. And you know, tensions are high. It's sad all abound, and literally the guy goes and says, "Yo, this guy's Batman, everybody," and it's like nobody believes it, and so he does the line. He does the I am vengeance, I am the night. And it takes this like sad room, you know, into turning them all into kids and making them happy. And like, that's the power of something like that, you know, and it'll definitely be missed on that front.
Yeah, you can't take things like that for granted. Like never.
No, absolutely not. I lost a, you know, I lost a hero to myself as well. I think you might remember when we last talked, I mentioned how much I love Power Rangers, and the Green Ranger unfortunately passed away.
Yeah. Sucks.
So yeah, you gotta. I think like one thing, if we can use our silly platform of Twitch video gaming site to just say, you know, keep your mental health close and keep the you know, think about your friends around you and always be on the lookout and try to help where you can. That's sort of the important thing.
Yeah.
Goodness, that was a little. We went from game going to person going. Let's bring it back up. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's see here. First off, best trailer that you saw, Game Awards. What's the thing that got you the most hyped? And no Cyberpunk, no Cyberpunk.
I'm actually waiting for Armored Core to make a comeback.
My man! Oh my god! I'm so happy.
I was really hyped for that one. I won't lie. I love whenever we see anything from Kojima. I know it's his trailers and maybe his recent games are very like enigmatic. Like you don't know what to expect. But
Wait, do you mean Death Stranding
Death
or
Stranding
Armored?
2,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Sorry, Death Stranding
Death
2. Yeah,
Stranding.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
Armored Core, 10 out of 10. Nothing to add there. Awesome trailer, hyped for it. Can't wait to play it. I kind of was anticipating that this will kind of come because I think I saw an interview once with Miyazaki saying that they would want to go back to this sooner or
Yeah.
later and that they're working on something different after Dark Souls 3. And I kind of got the vibe
That it
in
was the
between that it was kind of
yeah.
this is going to be the thing. So not very surprised, but trailer was really good. Everything looked awesome. When I just saw Bandai Namco and I saw the visuals, I'm like, okay, I know what to
You knew it right
expect.
away.
Yeah, I knew what to
Yeah.
expect. Especially that was at
It's
the end.
so cool, man.
So yeah, that one, Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
Also excited for that one because I enjoyed Gotham Knights. I know that not everybody did, but I had a lot of fun with that
Did
game.
you end up playing with Zuby? Did you end up destroying him at
We
all
did
or
not play
anything?
together. Like it was hard to find a like he was up for it, but I never found the time because my schedule was just like an hour here, an hour there.
I bet you he was
So
too busy playing with Rashid. It's okay. You don't have to cover for him.
yeah, he's already there reacting in chat. So yeah. I mean, Jedi Survivor. I'm also very excited for.
Yeah.
I played the first one, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I was super excited for. So when it comes to those were kind of my highlights when it comes to the show for sure. Actually seeing the actor come out with a lightsaber on stage was freaking amazing, and I was kind of thinking about it like, if you're playing in any Star Wars game, you always want to have an entrance like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
you guys kind of set a little bit of a precedent, I
I kind
feel,
of feel like watching this year's the Game Awards. I feel like, yeah, this trend of having actors appear on
Mm.
stage is gonna be the norm now moving forward.
It came from the Keanu thing,
Yeah, I think
etc.
I
Yeah.
feel like it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I'm working on CDPR, but I feel like it has become like a norm now. Like you need to be bringing star power. But seeing Al Pacino there, like
Oh my god, that
that
was
was
not
like
something I expected.
that was like curveball all the way, and I was like, what?
That's like
Really?
Martin Scorsese in a superhero costume kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
that's like, no, what's going on here? That was really cool though.
super exciting to see that, and I think it kind of shows us a little bit, kind of what gaming is becoming, because I know
Mm.
the kind of people were saying like the Game Awards are kind of the Oscars when it comes to gaming, and I agree, but still it's I feel like it's growing when it comes to production value and all that stuff.
It's come a long way, I feel, because
Yeah,
it did start, didn't it? Like really trying to almost force that nature into
yeah,
itself,
yeah.
where it didn't have the biggest star power, and some of it, like it didn't always hit the mark. But
Yeah.
now I feel like it's sort of like really, it's leveled out to where it wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
from the get go, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just getting more recognition, and games are getting more recognition from like the overall, let's say, actors, Hollywood, and kind of mass media and stuff like that. It's slowly creeping into that.
Mm.
Which, of course, some people I know there will be like these, you know, um, keyboard warriors that will be kind of saying, like gatekeepers saying that, okay, this is ours. What are you doing here? Like,
Yeah,
this is our
yeah.
gaming space. But on the other hand, I feel like maybe it'll just open up, the perception and the mentality when it comes to games in terms of not, treating them as something for kids and kind of this media that is only consumed and is a waste of time. Because I feel like, when we were kids, the kind of video games to some extent, we're getting into this space where, people are like parents or teachers and stuff like that were saying like, no, games, waste of time, go read a book. Well, you can
Yeah.
you can have, if you look at, games as a form of art right now and as a form of, culture and stuff like that, there is a lot to unpack there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And
It's to the point now where like just anybody, it
yeah.
doesn't matter, anybody and every literally you might look at my personal trainer. He's a big gym guy.
Mm-hmm.
You might not think he plays video games. The dude spends like all of his evenings on Dota 2.
Nice
Like
respect.
that. that's just what it is now. Yeah,
True.
and it's nice to see that shift. And going back to what you were saying about people gatekeeping and stuff, I think not to give anyone credit for that sort of behavior, but more it's becoming less disingenuous
Hmm.
amongst actors now.
Yeah,
They're not being forced to say they like a game or they have a history with the game when
exactly.
they really don't. They're just
Yeah,
saying, I
yeah,
liked working on this project. Games are cool,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And that's better to see than having someone pretend that they love
yeah,
Super
yeah,
Mario or
yeah,
whatever it is,
yeah. Yeah,
So
I love gaming. I played something
uh
in
Tekken
in the
fighter,
yeah,
we're not at that anymore. It's just, yeah, it was a cool project. I learned a lot about video games and I got respect for it. It's
yeah.
cool. Now we're just now I think one of my favorite comments in chat was literally just, can we get like more voice actor support? uh, can we have more of that, please?
Yeah, yeah,
um but man, I gotta say, Armored Core, by the way, I'm so happy you led with that. You have
yeah.
no idea how happy that made me, dude.
Oh man, dude,
I
come
told
on.
you last time I'm the mecha guy, and
Yeah.
I woke up to about 10 different messages from people who just know me as their mecha
Yeah.
friend. So they were just like, "Yo, did you see that?" And it literally to like this hour, I'm still getting messages of people like thinking they thought of me first. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
trust me.
I mean,
Um,
you always kind of wait for companies like that to bring back the old IPs that they were known for back in the day. And, to take that, it's kind of for us, like whenever we do another Witcher thing for people who
yeah,
experience like Witcher 1, like seeing then
Witcher
Witcher
One, we
2
talked
and
about it last time, and it was
Witcher
happening.
2, Witcher 3,
Yep.
like all these things is like you want those old things to kind of come back because I feel like the gaming space has been going on kind of on the nostalgia aspect of the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's the very idea of something like an Armored Core game with the experience they've held now after so many
yeah,
games
yeah,
and stuff, and very much akin to what you were saying earlier, Witcher One. The new Witcher One with everything you guys have done so far, and what input you can give to the team behind it and stuff like that. That's the coolest darn idea in
yeah,
the world to think
yeah.
about it. I mean, I once again, a lot of the things that we talked about last time, literally, I bet because you probably knew when we were talking
I
about it
knew.
last time. You did know. I knew you knew, dude. I
I knew
was
you
literally
knew.
I was like, what? Like when The Witcher One got announced, it was so soon after we spoke about it. But
Yeah.
that's just
It's
cool.
hard to keep a straight face in those moments because you kind of know, but
Yeah,
you can't talk about it because it'll ruin everything. So you kind of need to be like, oh, okay,
I
yeah,
bet you
no.
get like super steely face, like don't make a motion, don't
No, actually,
or you like relaxed.
if you have to be relaxed. If you don't be if you're not relaxed, it's gonna come out. So you kind of need to be relaxed. And I always just I kind of go into kind of how I experience games and how I experience Witcher just as a fan of it because I kind of
Mm,
go into that avenue because that's how I joined the company. I still whenever I see things that we're working on and whenever we get updates regarding the projects that we're working on, I just get excited like a kid,
yeah.
and maybe it spoils kind of the excitement of the big reveal because you kind of know about it still, but you're still excited for it because you remember that this passion for it kind of got me into the space in which I am here today, and I still
Mm.
get excited about things like I was just just a fan of CDPR. So it totally will always, I think, remain that way.
Is there, we're sort of talking about it just a moment ago, with like properties, old properties that companies have and stuff. Is there anything that you would want to see make a comeback from any studio that you really like? Whether it's something you
Hmm.
grew up with or just something you sort of found when you were younger. Like what is there something you would love to see make a comeback? Like
I saw that on the film side, Willow is making a comeback, and Willow was actually one of the first NES games that I had when I had the NES first Nintendo game. So I would like because it was an RPG, and I would like
mm,
that one to kind of make a comeback, like a new enhanced version of that. I always loved Willow um as a story and as a universe, and I feel like it
yeah.
would be nice to have it within a game once again.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it myself, but it's sort of
Yeah.
something from the Super Nintendo age that actually made a comeback recently. I was really excited about was I don't know if you've ever played ActRaiser
No,
before.
actually, no.
Yeah, Square Enix brought that
Mm-hmm.
back. Really, really cool. Side scroller mixed with like
Hmm.
a Sim City kind of management
Okay.
thing. It's super, super cool.
Nice.
And there's just a lot of games I think that could definitely benefit from that like remaster, bringing back the love
Yeah.
kind of treatment. So,
Yeah, I remember we got into like in the gaming industry, we kind of got into a place where it was just like remaster on remaster, and kind of I feel
oh
like
yeah,
to some point, I feel like some people are already kind of fed up with that they would want new IPs or they would want new things to kind of come into the space. But I feel like if you have a little bit of balance, that you have place for this kind of nostalgia aspect, and you have these old school games making a comeback or getting remastered fully, it's still going to be awesome because you want to go back to that nostalgia. Like we've been also talking about last time how, we kind of both love Dragon Ball. Like I started watching
oh
Dragon Ball Z
yes.
once again, like all of
Wait,
it.
did you
Yeah,
after the?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
And I was
man.
like, dude, this is so good for what it was. And I also was previously rewatching some of the episodes of Batman animated series, and now it's also making its
Oh,
way to HBO. Like all these things, you kind of want to go back to them from time to time to kind of see
hmm
like, well, this was really
absolutely.
cool. Like this was awesome for what it was, and you also kind of look at it from the perspective that you have like right now, and you kind of seen how, also like anime has grown and how games have grown as a media and all that stuff. So I feel like you need this. You need this space to kind of go back to things, but you also want to be experiencing the new stuff. So yeah, I love that. Thank you for the raid, by the way, MPT.
Oh
Um,
snaps!
yeah, 108 people, crazy.
You didn't thank Bonanito for his raid? Was it only because
Oh
it was
yeah,
one
it was.
person?
Sorry, I missed that one. Yeah, sorry about that one. Sorry about that one.
the
Oh yeah,
the
there was
one
also Miss
the
Lady
one.
J before that. Yeah,
Yeah, Jess gave us the
yeah.
the raid as well.
Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, "Oh, you called me out. Damn."
It's more because Bonanito did it for one person
Yeah.
himself. You ever giggle at those when you get those, or it's just like,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a you kind of chuckle inside, kind of like, yeah, I see what you did there.
yeah. I like those ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that tickles me pink that you mentioned you went back and watched some episodes of DBZ and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, you gotta. There was so many good moments in that one, and I actually managed to get a hold of a version that has Polish voiceover, like it did, like
oh
when I watched it as a
snaps,
kid. Some guy pretty much just made a version that has like the old school. I don't know how. I don't
right?
want to know how, but he's like, yeah, you should totally check it out. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And it's like it's just the way as I remember it as a kid. And yeah, damn.
I now you have me very curious what Polish Vegeta sounds like.
Now it's
I
it's 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 one voice actor doing the whole thing.
wait, what?
Yeah,
Just
every
one guy
voice.
for the whole slot.
Because it's funny because the version that we had in Poland that was on TV, we
Yeah,
watched the French version, so they were talking in French, and then
right.
on top of it there was a Polish lector like saying the lines, but it was only one guy. And but still, like in the beginning of the show, when you have the music, it's in Japanese. And previously, what happened, you also have the Japanese voiceover. So the French voiceover kicks in when the episode actually starts. And same goes for the Polish one, is it also says it starts at the same time. So I've been watching it previously and I never recognized that. But when I watched it now, I was like, what did they did with the like voiceover? It's Japanese into French into Polish. I mean, that's
You're learning three languages
so
at once, man.
weird.
You're becoming a polyglot there. Like, what the heck? That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's
yeah,
I've never heard of something like that, dude.
exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
but
gotta, yeah,
crazy.
I gotta listen to that. I gotta
Yeah,
listen to that
that's
for
it's
sure.
it's 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 interesting. But yeah, I also saw this like 1080p. I was like, how did they get the graphics to look so good now? Uh,
Oh my god, that's gotta have been a weird res up there.
yeah.
Um, So we talked about the Game Awards. A lot of that happened and everything like that. We talked a little bit about Gwent. I wanted to ask you
Hmm.
a question because I'd been curious about it before, and I have a recommendation for you as well after.
Okay.
Um, the question I have is, when did you get into cycling, stuff like that? Because I see you like as an avid, cyclist, and I know how expensive that hobby can
Oh
be.
shit.
Like I had a coworker, dude, who bought like the top of the line bikes, and I'm like, man, you could have bought like three PS5s or
Yeah.
something. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what?
Or
Where?
more.
How did you get? How did you jump into that? Like where did that start for you?
Oh man, I think it all started with my dad. I think like
Mm,
all these things, they trickle down from a parent or from colleagues or from school or whatever. Like you get into things because someone shows it to you for the first time. Like
mm.
I remember we were when we were in the States for 4 years. He was there like avidly into cycling, especially that we're in California. You could like ride your bike the whole
Oh, you
year.
were in Cali.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, in Santa Monica.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah,
Long Beach, born and raised.
oh,
Good stuff, man.
nice. That's why the vibe is so good, man.
Hey, there we go. There we go, brother.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's so he got a bike there. Like for the first time it was a bike that was built from the ground up, frame,
Yeah.
group set, wheels, everything. So it was a mountain bike. So you really got into that aspect of it. And yeah, he also got me a bike. I wasn't like very into cycling. I was always like a chubby little kid and stuff like that. Um, and never was too much into sports, maybe apart from like, going like shooting some hoops. And he was always like introducing me to different sports. If it was, I don't know, if it was like soccer or football, like we call it here.
Trying to see which one stuck for you, kind of
Yeah, to
thing.
kind of see if I'm going to be interested in something. But cycling was kind of the common thing, which kind of I was kind of into in and out.
Yeah.
But I never felt like I had enough time for it. But when we came back to Poland, I had a couple bikes. I had friends um, who had their first mountain bikes, and we used to take bikes to like the local woods. We would shred them. We'd actually build ramps to jump off and do kind of more extreme
Oh.
stuff. So I
Yeah,
got
no, I
really
I
into
know
that.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had friends who did that at,
yeah,
my local park, DeForest Park. They would literally, like, they there was a whole section where
yeah,
people would just go do that with mountain bikes and stuff, so that's
yeah.
super cool.
And after mountain bikes, I got into BMX.
Yep.
So that was even more rad, and started becoming part of that like community. And as I got older, like I was kind of like, BMX. Okay, it's cool, but I'm gonna pretty
It's
much,
horror on your knees, isn't it?
yeah, I'm gonna break
Yeah.
myself
I was
before
gonna yeah.
before I'm able to do like anything more. So that's when I was kind of like, okay, I would really want a road bike. And I remember when I finished my studies, I did my master's degree. Um, my parents were like, okay, we want a graduation gift for you. I was like, what do you want? I'm like, I want a road bike. So
Oh, so you got, like, one of those top line, like,
actually, it
really
wasn't
not
like very top line. I said I want something not super top line because I want to like, bang the shit out of it. Um, And so I don't want like a carbon frame because I know your first bike is always it's just gonna pretty much go to bits, right?
Yeah, it's like the
Um,
first car kinda thing, like,
yeah, it's kind of
know
like
it's
first
not
car.
always gonna
Yeah,
gonna be there kinda
and
thing,
that
yeah.
bike went through hell pretty much
Yeah.
through like winter time and all that stuff, and so it was just like an aluminium frame. I wanted it to be as simple as possible, and that was at that time. I remember we were going to shops like checking out the bikes, and I went there with my dad, and I was like, let's get two. You get one, I get one, and
Oh.
let's kind of see if we'll get into it.
That's a
And
really cool idea. I did
yeah,
that with my wife, actually. We both bought our bikes together, and that
yeah,
really encouraged us to continue biking together and stuff. So
exactly.
that's a super good idea.
Yeah, and he was at the point where he was just riding a mountain bike and pretty much taking it to the same place, to the forest and stuff like that. I'm like, let's branch out. Let's try road cycling. Like we've been watching Tour de France. We've been kind of, seeing what's happening in terms of like this space. And he's like, yeah, let's try it. And we got really, really into it. So pretty much it was
You just sort of fell in love from that
yeah.
early age, and
Yeah, like
you
and I think also the fact of kind of my personal life kind of changing a lot, especially
Mm.
with the whole divorce related stuff and things like that, not being able to see my daughter as much as I could.
You need
Kind of,
something to keep
yeah,
yourself
you
kind of
need
going,
you need
don't you?
something to keep to kind of level out and kind of get the stress out. And I feel like road cycling is very like you can like dig yourself into a hole.
Are you a
Very
music or like are you a music guy when you're riding or?
I try to. I used to listen to music, but I kind of have like these, these headphones that you can hear what's going on around you. So they're kind of
Yeah,
like this bone induction things that you're able to still hear cars and stuff like that. But I've been more into listening podcasts like recently.
nice.
I just listen to like long podcasts and kind of, listen about different things that I might be interested in. So that was the time where I really got into cycling. I really started training. I really wanted to, have some type of structure to it. And from that, I moved on to running, and now I'm more focusing on cycling again. So it's kind of become like a back and forth. And I got into indoor cycling, which I thought I would
Oh
never
yeah.
do, due to the fact that you can gamify it through Zwift, which is pretty much you hook up your personal bike into a trainer, and
Mm-hmm.
the trainer is hooked up via Wi-Fi to Zwift on your laptop or your PC or tablet. And based on if you're going uphill, it is actually making the flywheel that you have behind you actually, there's putting tension on it.
It's
So
adjusting it
so
and
you
everything.
feel it's adjusting depending on where you're going and how the land shapes. So
That's
it's like
cool.
routing outside almost, except you get a better sweat inside. So for the winter time, it's what I've been doing, and also in between that, going to the gym to kind of work on other stuff, because cycling is known to be good for your lower body, but your upper body just becomes like,
And you got to balance those things. Otherwise,
yeah.
you're either looking like chicken legs or you're looking like a Lego man. That's like either
And
or kind
also
of
it's
thing.
like, your back, you need the support on the
Yep.
bike because you're it's not the most comfortable position and all that stuff, so you need to be kind of, thinking about other aspects of the whole thing to kind of keep
I think
yourself
when you
level.
first do physical activity, after a while, or just if it's your first time ever, when I started going to the gym properly for the first time, I was really surprised at like the portions of my body that needed work. Where it's like, you have no strength in your traps or
Yes,
this part
yes,
of your back, etc. It's like,
yes.
oh yeah, you just never use
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely keeping those like in check is a really important
And
thing.
it's
And
good that you mentioned a personal trainer. Like I also needed a personal trainer.
did
Thankfully,
you?
at CDPR, we have personal trainers that kind of come
Ah,
in and kind of give you like structured workouts and show you the workouts. Like I've never been a gym person, so I needed someone to
yeah.
actually show me the ropes. And
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, there was a guy that, when before the pandemic, I would just go and he would show me the things. He would also give me structured workouts and like a workout plan that I would follow. And I kept that going. And I still kind of go back to what I've learned now. And I feel more comfortable going to the gym, because I feel like whenever you go to the gym, first of all, it's difficult because you feel like always everybody's just like staring at you. That's one thing. And then the other
Yeah.
thing, and people are not, because they're
No, no,
focused on their
absolutely not.
workouts. Second thing, it's always a difficult experience because you kind of don't know if you're doing everything properly,
And you
and
feel kind of like like, oh, I don't know if
everybody's looking,
I'm.
and I don't know if I'm doing this
Uh,
properly. Am I using this properly? So it's good for someone to come in and kind of show you how you're supposed to do workouts. First of all, for safety, because you can really break yourself. Like if you
mm-hmm.
don't know how to do squats, deadlifts, and things like that. These are like, or even
Oh
how to
yeah.
bench press and stuff like that. You need to know what's the proper technique in order not to hurt yourself. So once you learn that, you kind of, you go into the gym and you feel confident there. And I feel like it's also good for like boosting your overall confidence once you get into it more and you start going on a regular basis.
You
It
feel that
builds,
level of
yeah,
accomplishment.
yeah, there is a level of accomplishment, but also it kind of, builds your self-esteem and kind of how you go
I
there
think
every
what
time.
you were saying earlier, just to sort of interject for the moment on that gym thing,
Hmm.
the biggest thing to keep in mind for the gym, if anyone is nervous about gym life and going in for the first time or going in after a long time, anyone anyone with like a sound mind at the gym is never going to judge you
Yeah.
for being there, for improving yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody there is trying to make themselves a better person. And on some level, even the most like jacked looking dudes, I've talked to a lot of people in the gym, and literally, dude, I'm telling you, people with bodies that I wish I had, they're there like saying like the same level of insecurities that I've
Yeah.
had on some days.
Of course.
Everybody's just got something to improve on
Yeah.
themselves. So
Yeah.
never feel like that weird stigma of like dude bros doing dude bro things are there, like no one's gonna, hey,
Hardly
what's
ever
up, wimpy
happens.
man?
It hardly ever happens. Like
Nah,
unless
yeah,
you're just a person that pretty much goes to the gym for the sake of going and posting pics on Instagram and kind of showing off or trying to pick up a girl or something like that. But yeah, for most of the time, it's just people trying to kind of better themselves and are working on stuff. But also, we all have our insecurities. We all have, like you said, things that we want to develop and work on, and it's totally fine. Just go and try to have fun and try to better yourself and try to enjoy it, because I've always been kind of like had this mentality back in the day, like, like going to the gym is for these like gym bros that kind of go there and kind of like, I'm gonna be right here pumping iron, man. I don't give a shit about anything else.
I need that voice like 24/7. You gotta do a stream with that voice, bro.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of gonna be the mentality, but then it turns out like everybody's cool and nice, and no one's like a gym bro.
No one's really like that. To get to get on the, I just wanted to tell you about that little recommendation I have, because we connected on anime last time.
Yeah.
And I don't know
if
I've got one for you, brother. I got one. There's a cycling anime out there, actually.
I heard about it.
Yes, dude, it's so good. It's called Yowamushi Pedal.
Yes. I was actually gonna watch that because I got it as a recommendation from surprise Rafa Oyaki, who is the executive producer on Edge Runners. So
yeah, Mr. Anime.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Anime. He was like, totally, you should watch it. You'll like it. And I remember really I watched a couple episodes. I need to go back to that one because
I never.
The cycling part was like very over the top there.
It always is in sports anime, but that's kind of the coolest part about it. Because like I don't, growing up, I did some tennis, I did some stuff when I was younger, but I never got like heavy into like all the intricacies of the sport. So learning about things like cadence and the wind movements when people are in teams and all that stuff, and like it blew my mind. I never thought about some of those things. It's super cool.
I remember Tsubasa was very popular here.
Yes,
it was like one of the best, especially that Poland is very into its soccer, so it was or football, and it was a hit show here.
Yeah, Tsubasa is really loved all across the world. One of the best sports animes out there. That and like Slam Dunk and stuff. It's really good. I kind of had a suspicion you would have heard about Yowamushi Pedal, to be honest. So that's good to hear.
Rafael got me into that one very, very quickly. He was like, "Oh, you're into cycling. If you really want to, if you want to check out the cycling equivalent of an anime, like Yowamushi Pedal is the way to go."
Definitely. All right. I have some more questions, but I mean, do you have anything? I've literally somebody said in chat, it was like I was interviewing you.
I was actually gonna say that we're gonna be slowly need to be wrapping up because I need to bounce off and kind of we have a dinner date with the family, so I have to
cool.
go
I'll be
to
right
that.
there.
But we're gonna need episode 3, and someone already, I think Oyerfeldi asked, if we're ever gonna turn this into a podcast. I mean, if it goes this way, we would totally do something official for this.
We're practically treating this as a podcast right now. You know, like I would happily do a podcast with you, man.
Yeah, especially after a week that was so packed with so many things going on, we could totally do that.
Yeah, dude, I would love to talk about.
We'll think of something. We'll think of something.
If chat wants that, I'd be more than happy. But otherwise, part 3 for sure. I literally just have me on standby if somebody, just
if someone cancels, like, hey, Denpai, are you there?
Yeah, just pull me in. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, man. I'll jump in. Zuby gets trapped under the water. All right, I'm there. We'll get it sorted. Kind of.
No, Zuby's also that type of person that also wants to kind of get in there.
Zuby's always like he's always keen to help the community as well, and there's a few people like that. That are you have them at your beck and call. They're down. kind of thing. But I guess to finish off then, since I've got to let you, what's for dinner, by the way? What are you having? You know?
We're actually going to get some ramen.
Hey, nice, man,
Yeah.
nice. Sounds like a fun time there.
But it's interesting because it's vegan ramen. Oh, so
we were doing
good.
so well. We were doing so well, sir.
And
then you pull that.
No, dude, but it's a really good vegan ramen shop. It's very good. It's very good. Trust me.
All right. You
need to come into Warsaw. I'll show you.
I am going to at some point.
Yes, Oerfeldi, this is the place. The good vegan ramen in Warsaw. This is the place you guys went to. Yeah.
I'll try and give that a go then. I'm planning to hopefully come over next year, so it'll be nice. I don't know, the words. I went to a vegan restaurant with my wife once.
Yeah.
And she surprised me by it being a vegan restaurant. She did not tell me that it was a vegan restaurant, that we were meeting up with our friends. I proceeded to order takeaway from a pizzeria instead. So it's not something that I mesh well with, but we can try it. We can try it. But no, my man, literally, you're one of my favorite people to talk to.
Likewise, man. It goes so well. But now I learned that you're from Long Beach. It makes.
Hey, dude, I gotta say, when you said Cali, dude, I was like, let's go.
Anyone from LBC is like, the best.
Much love, man. That means a lot.
It's also one of the best creative places in California. I feel like there was a lot of companies that started there. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Sublime, literally.
Yeah.
Snoop,
the BMX scene there was also crazy. Like when I used to be
it was prevalent when I was growing up, man. Yeah. It was. Literally all the kids I knew, they rode BMXs and stuff like that.
Or skated.
Oh yeah, definitely skating and stuff like that. There was a pathway from my house near that you could go. It was like a riverbank. You could ride down on your bike, and you can end up all the way at the Queen Mary. It was super, super cool. Dude, I got to talk to you more about Cali, but I'm gonna keep you. Yeah, I'm gonna keep you way too long.
we need another episode or our own thing, but we'll discuss after. And we need to think of something because me and Flake will most likely not doing any more stuff on the Fleurs up front, as you probably saw. Because
can I get a meme of that my friendship ended with the two Indian guys? Can we get that?
yeah, with Flake, and then you're my new friend. We should totally do that, and then blast it their way.
Oh, dude,
some bad blood over there.
Nah, that beef is dude. Flake's the Eminem. I'm like the MGK. Let's not do that. God no. But yeah, we definitely have to get something going there. That'd be really
true.
Cool.
True that. So yeah, we'll keep you posted, Chad, and people watching on YouTube. We'll figure it out. Cool, man.
Yeah. Eat your prayers. Say your vitamins. Stay school. Goodbye, chat.
I like how you acted that one out.
It's not going to resist.
Perfect. All right. I think that's it for this episode. Thank you, as always. Thank you for the questions. You came super prepared. But it looked like it was kind of more questions for me. But I kind of understand that it was from the perspective of all the things that we were kind of announcing starting last Sunday. So
I was just really curious about a lot of that stuff.
But next always a great chat.
Yeah, always a great chat, man. We'll get it started next time. See you later, guys.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.